Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. This is our final episode for today. We're doing one of the final games of the weekend. It's Liverpool against Leicester. I guess we're bookending it with probably Saturday with the biggest game of Saturday. We're bookending it with the biggest game of Sunday, quite possibly in the Premier League at least. And it's a big game. It's first against second, but not the way you would expect it. It's actually first is Leicester and second Liverpool. Somebody you would expect normally. Normally you might have expected the other way around. But we're here joined by Pushkar today. Pushkar, welcome to the show. And we're
Thank
gonna
you for having me again.
yeah, and we're gonna break down this big game of Sunday together. So I mean, when you talk about Liverpool, it almost seems that you have to talk about injuries because that's pretty much been the story of Liverpool's season. Do you think Liverpool are the unluckiest team in the league this season, or is it luck? Has it got anything to do with luck? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we can claim to be the unluckiest, but yes, I think quite a few injuries in the same position. I think that's what makes it unlucky, I would say. Like mostly the defense is out and a few midfielders are recovering. So
Yeah. So I mean, I'll do a quick rundown. There's so many players. I may not even have got all of them, but Joe Gomez is definitely out. Jordan Henderson is out. Mo Salah is out because of COVID. Virgil van Dijk is out for a long time. Trent Alexander-Arnold is out, although I'm not sure whether he's out or whether he's a doubt. I don't know about that, but he's out. Thiago may not be back as well. He might not be fit enough. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is definitely out, and then Fabinho and Reece Williams. Well, I mean, yeah, you're laughing with Alex Oxlade Chamberlain because yeah, even
I don't know what to laugh or to cry.
yeah, no idea what's going on with him. Maybe Arsenal were onto something when they let him go. But and then maybe Fabinho and Reece Williams may not be available as well, but I think they probably will be. I think when you say somebody, they're saying that those guys are doubts. So when you say they're doubts, it means they probably will start. So that's the list.
Yeah, okay. I think in Klopp's press conference, he told that Trent and Henderson are definitely out, and
Okay.
everyone else is in contention,
Okay. Oh, so
other
oh,
than
so
Van Dijk
Mo
and
Salah will
Gomez.
be out as well, I suppose, right? Because he's got to do the mandatory 2 week.
Yeah, Mo Salah, Trent, Henderson out for injuries,
Okay.
and then Van Dijk and Gomez are out, and
Mm-hmm.
others are like
In
depends on the
contention.
situation on Sunday.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Thiago, Fabinho, and Reece Williams, yeah, they probably might start. I mean, considering his issues, if there is a chance that you start them, Pushko, would you start them? Like, would you take the risk of starting them because they're so dire, in need of players? You almost are tempted to start them because you need players, but at the same time, you don't want to lose them to injury. So it's a catch 22, isn't it, for Klopp right now? What would you do if you were in his position?
I think there are like a decent amount of players who can play different position. Like you have Wijnaldum, then you have Milner, and these players might cover it a little bit, but there's no point in rushing it because the season is still has quite a long way to go. So no point in rushing it. Just let them recover on their own pace
Hmm.
because it's more what do you say? You need more
Okay.
players as the season goes on, definitely, to keep fit. There's no point in risking an injury again.
Yeah. I want to ask you this. I mean, this is a more general question. It's not related to Liverpool, but I think it probably in the context. Do you think the Premier League made a mistake by not going with the five substitutes rule? Like, do you think they should have done that at the start of the season? I mean, every other league is doing it. The Premier League is not doing it. It's kind of weird, but do you think that that has made a difference as well, not having the five substitutes option?
I think it's a case of like hindsight is a good thing. Retrospectively, I think maybe five subs might like help in managing the players better. But the main case was that the so-called smaller teams uh, do not have that much squad depth, quality depth. I guess that was the main case, and they voted against it.
Hmm.
But something else also came up the other day. I think the thing was the bigger clubs are also playing more games in European competitions that the smaller clubs are not playing. So I guess it kind of sets it off. Would
Yeah.
say that. So
Yeah, I think it's more to do with the likes of Wolves and Everton, and I mean I don't know about Aston Villa, maybe Aston Villa too, but more those teams that were in and around the European spots, and Leicester as well. They were in and around those European spots, and they probably wanted because they don't have as much depth, and they want to challenge for those spots. They probably felt that they didn't want to give an advantage to the other big six teams with that. Yeah, but then you're looking at it. I mean, from another angle, you're probably looking at it and saying, well, there are teams that are being unfairly disadvantaged because of having to play so many games and getting so many injuries. But I mean, I feel it should have been there. 5 stars at least allows you to at least test your depth a little bit. You can give youngsters a chance, if nothing else. But well, I mean, such are the problems of having too much competition as well, and everybody's trying to
I
fight for
think
it.
they are still wondering, like trying to figure this out, right?
This there will
The
be
five stars
another
thing.
vote on this issue. Nobody knows when, but they'll have to do it. I think they should do it now because with December and Jan coming up, it's gonna be
Like,
crazy,
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Even without injuries, COVID is also a very big thing right now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. We might very well be heading into a second shutdown. We don't know that. What's going to happen? We'll have to wait and see. I think after the Champions League is over, then I think that those things will start to come along as well. But yeah, we shall see what happens there. But talking about Leicester, and here's an interesting one for people. When you talk about who's got the most penalties this season, normally people go in Manchester United. We asked how many penalties Manchester United would get this season, but guess who are top of the penalty stakes this year? It's Leicester, 8 penalties so far this season. I mean, most of them probably won by Jamie Vardy, but and I think many of them given away
probably.
by Kyle Walker. But it's a phenomenal stat. I mean, nobody's batting an eye because it's Leicester. I mean, we can always assure this was Manchester United. People would have been raising questions, but nobody's batting an eye because it's Leicester. But it's incredible, isn't it? The amount of I mean, I don't know what to call it. Is it? I mean, it's probably Jamie Vardy. He probably scares defenders when he runs at them and they cause fouls. But that's something Liverpool will have to be careful about, isn't it? Giving away those kind of penalties, particularly with what they will have is probably going to be an inexperienced backline.
Yeah, you could say that because like Barnes and Wadi both run out defenders, and they both have that capability of, I don't like, they try to dribble and might go down with the slightest touches. So I said yes, there's definitely need to be more careful. And
Oh, nice dig there.
so
There's going to be a few
see,
people typing about Mo Salah and Sadio Mane.
yeah, see, that's always the case. I think like it has gotten to that point. Like if you don't fall over, you do not get a penalty, and
Yeah,
if you fall
pretty
over,
much.
you are like called about exaggerating and everything.
Yeah, well, you have to fall. If you want a penalty, you got to fall. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get a penalty. So I don't blame players for that. It's always difficult to say what is legit and what not. It always feels like there are always these
Yeah,
debates about whether it's a penalty, too soft or not enough contact, all of that. I mean, there's so many things. Handballs,
I
those are
guess
the ones that
yeah, handballs are definitely the ones to look out for.
yes. But speaking of Jamie Vardy, though, Pushkar, do you feel? I mean, there's a real issue with creativity. I mean, Leicester are one of the lowest, the teams with the lowest chances created. They haven't created a lot of chances this season. And partly because Madison has been injured, Harvey Barnes hasn't played. They'll probably have both of them
Yeah.
now. But it does feel that without Jamie Vardy up front, and we saw it against Arsenal until he came on, and we saw it against Aston Villa as well. There seems to be an over reliance on Vardy to do a lot of the attacking work and a lot of the offensive work, which is not a bad thing necessarily because that's what Leicester are as a team. But if he's not on fire, then they seem to have a bit of a problem without him.
Yeah, I think some players are like inherently irreplaceable. Like
Hmm.
Wadi is for Leicester. I think they brought in Perez. He hasn't performed as well as they would have liked, I guess.
Yeah, Nacho as
And
well.
yeah, so yeah, I think it's all right that they're trying to form the team around Wadi, but
He's
the
old now.
dependency definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
so how long can they keep that up?
Yeah, I don't even think it's about building a team around Vardy. I think it's just he's the only one who has that sense and
Yeah,
understanding of what the
focal point.
position
Yeah.
requires and what he needs to do. I don't think the other players kind of get that. So I don't know. But yes, that is something to figure out. And on that note, then tactically though, Pushkar, when we talk about Vardy, if Liverpool play a high line, Liverpool play on the highest lines when it comes to the Premier League. They behind only Manchester City. They normally have the highest line. Would
Yeah.
considering the fact that they have, and I know we talk about consistency and and team tactics and believing in your tactics. If you have got an inexperienced defense, and you've got Jamie Vardy on the other side, would you want to play a high line? Is that? I mean, that probably is going to be the key battle, isn't it? How Liverpool
I
keep a line and what they do
yeah.
with Jamie Vardy.
Uh, since like Van Dijk got injured and now even Gomez is injured, so the line isn't that high, I think,
It's
because we do not have
46,
pacey defense.
47, 46.7 meters. That's what I've read.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the
as in
average
with
position.
Van Dijk and Gomez, it was considerably higher. I would say
Hmm.
without Van Dijk, it has gone down a bit because we do not have the pace to cover up like
Hmm.
he and Gomez can do it. And with both of them injured and inexperienced backline as well, I think the Klopp might play it a bit safe or at least crowd out the midfield, something like that.
Yeah, and that
Because
is
I
going
think
to be the key
there's a
battle.
definite need to like cut the channels out and not let the midfield pass it to Vardy.
Hmm. Yeah. Yes, that's yeah, and that's for me. That's going to be the key battle because I don't. I think Liverpool's have enough to score goals. They even scored two against Villa, even that 7-2 that people talk about. They still managed to score two goals. So I don't think goal
That was just a
scoring.
freak match.
Well, I mean, goal
But
scoring.
it
I don't
was,
think will be an issue because they still have Firmino, they'll have Jota, they'll have Mane. So I
yeah,
don't think goal scoring will be an issue. It's what they do at the back that's going to
yeah,
ultimately determine whether they win the game or not. Because if they allow Leicester to cut through them and do whatever they want, then it's going to be a problem. But if they can stop that, if they can keep Vardy quiet, then they can probably win. Then they'll probably win that game. This is an interesting one though because it has shades of last season a little bit because again Leicester was sort of threatening to make a title challenge. Liverpool were running away with it, and there was this period when we were talking about Leicester, and then Liverpool pretty much sat them down with a 4-0. I mean, it was 4-0, 4-0 win, 4-1, 4-0. I know
yeah.
they scored four goals, but
4-0, I think. Yeah.
4-0, yeah, 4-0 win, easy enough. It's going to be again sort of that way this game as well. Not necessarily the scoreline, but the way that the storyline is developing. What do you think will be Leicester's tactic going into this game? How do you think they need to approach this game? Do they go on the front foot? Do they try to
Uh,
park the bus and counter? Where do you see what do you
I
see
think I
Leicester?
think they have tried both this season. I think they have gone with three defenders as well as five defenders in different matches. But against Liverpool, I expect them to fully attack, especially since the back line is a bit recovering. And I think kind of depends on if Fabinho is fit as well or not. That might help Liverpool boost the chances a bit. But yeah, I think it's yeah the same thing with three defenders and two wing backs. I think Leicester might go with that because
Mhm.
Soyuncu is also injured. He's one of the
Yeah,
key
Soyuncu is
defenders if they're
out.
playing the two at the
Yeah,
back.
Soyuncu's
So
out, so probably Fofana and Johnny Evans will probably be the starting two defenders that they will
and I
start.
think NDD is also out. He was
He
usually the
might be
makeshift
back.
center back, so
Yeah, he
defensive
might be back.
midfielder.
He's in contention to start. Wilfred Ndidi is back.
Okay,
Pereira also could be back, though they do have
I think they have
Castagne.
their own injury concerns as well.
Yeah.
So kind of depends on who is fit on the match day.
Yeah, well, we don't know. By the time this video goes out, between now and by the time this video goes out, we might hear of another couple of injuries. By the time we finish up today and go into tomorrow or Sunday, there's actually 2 days to Sunday. There might be a few more injuries. We
Actually,
just
yeah,
we just don't know what's going to happen. Like it's like a minute by minute watch. It's not even a day by day watch. But
true.
yeah, I think that'll be interesting. I think for me, for Leicester, I think they have to approach the game in the way that they did against City, where they've got to keep it tight in the first half and make sure that they don't they're not losing the game. Because if they can control that first half and like go and level or by mistake get a goal and lead, then Liverpool probably might have the issue of fatigue or fitness, and they might sort of tire a little bit in the second half. We've seen that happen with teams, and that might happen, and that might give Leicester a chance.
Yeah,
But if they get streamrolled in the first half, like if it's 2-0 or 3-0 to Liverpool in the first half, or 3-1, whatever, then I think it's going to be a straightforward win for Liverpool. So it depends on how Leicester contain Liverpool, at least in that first half. That's where the game might be won and lost. But who do you think is going to be the key player, Pushkar, for Liverpool?
uh, I would go with Alisson actually
Listen, yeah. Mhm.
because he needs to organize the defense properly. You have Matip, but let's see what about the fitness levels of the other players as well and who is
Mhm.
starting alongside him. But I would have
Yeah,
to say Alisson be like might need to get more into the match.
yeah. Yeah, no, Alisson
Hopefully
definitely.
not.
I think he's gonna be an important, very key player. I think he's probably an even more important player than Virgil van Dijk in that team. I don't know if people agree with me, but I feel that he's much more important to the team than Virgil van Dijk.
I think
Uh,
both of them are equally important. Yes, in
Not
my
fair. Well, you're a fan, that's okay. But
yeah.
yeah, the one thing I know is I always hate when I see Alisson on the team sheet. That's what I can say. That's the best respect that I can give to a player. Is I
Yeah.
hate it when I see him on the team sheet because I just wonder how anybody's going to score against him. It's always a surprise when somebody scores against Alisson. I know City managed it, but yeah, it's always a surprise
Yeah,
for.
it's like definitely one-on-ones and close shots are always tough to save. But in general, he has that composed calmness
Mhm.
that he brings to the team. So
Yeah, he's a
definitely
he's a
helps
brilliant
out.
brilliant player, and so many things that I can talk about him. But anyway, We won't get into it, but yeah, I think for Leicester, I think the key player for me, and I know people will probably pick Vardy, but I think I'll go a little bit different. I'll say Wesley Fofana is going to be the key player for Leicester because Liverpool are going to attack. They have got a very good attack, obviously, and it's going to be important for him. But this is a good chance for him. He's young. He's going to probably start probably what is going to be the biggest game of his career so
Yeah.
far, and how he handles that Liverpool front three. Whether that's the interchangeability of the players, whether it's about making sure that things are organized. I think that will be key for him as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this game. I've heard a lot of good things, so we'll see. And typically, when I hear a lot of good things about a player and then I watch him play, he normally doesn't perform. That happens, but well, hopefully he can acquit himself well in this game. But what's your score prediction, Pushkar?
I would say 3-1 to Liverpool. I think we might concede some sort of clumsy goal.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, I think 3-1, 3-1 sounds about right. I think I'll probably go with 3-0 actually, because I feel like Liverpool might be able to contain Vardy because it all depends on if they can contain Vardy. If they contain Vardy, they'll easily win. There's no goals coming from Leicester if Vardy
I
doesn't
think
help.
for me, like it depends on if Fabinho starts the game or not.
Hmm.
He definitely brings in that level of defensive ability.
Yeah, for sure. I think Fabinho, if he starts, I think even James Milner, if he starts, I think he also brings a little bit of
I think
composure.
as of now, like because of the right back situation as well, Nico Williams may not play. So I think if Milner starts right back, then you expect Fabinho in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Who's play left back then? If
left back, I think
Oh,
Robertson is there,
Robertson
and
is available,
lucky,
right? Robertson is
yeah,
available. So
yeah,
yeah, he
like
had a slight injury, but he
and
should be okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he
Robertson
might
is there.
could
Yeah.
also
So
be
yeah, it's
taken
about right
off
back.
quickly with
Yeah. So it
Simsigas
depends.
is also there.
Yeah. So yeah, Liverpool are not as worse as I mean, yeah, they have a few injuries, but it's not as bad
I think the
as people.
setup is very good. That players can slot in easily. I think that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it'll be fine. Liverpool will be fine. It'll be an easy win, an easy routine win. All the talk will be an easy routine win for Liverpool.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
they're going to
always
do.
going to something like that.
Yes, well, we shall see, but that depends on what the injury situation is. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
But thank you so much, Pushkar, for joining me for this one. Really appreciate your insight and thoughts, and hopefully it's a great, enjoyable game for you to watch on Sunday. We'll be back. We'll do the match reaction for that one on Sunday. I'll be here for that one, and we'll break down how that game went, and we'll see if we were right or wrong. We'll know what happens there. But smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it. If you're watching it on YouTube, please remember to tell us what you thought, what you think about the game, what do you think is going to happen, and how you want to see the team set up and the players starting, and what your predictions are for the score as well. Just mention that in the comments below. We appreciate that, and also remember to subscribe to the channel. If you are new, this is our last video for today, but we're going to do quite a few more over the weekend. So if you subscribe, you can get notified as soon as videos go live. We're going to do quite a few match reactions tomorrow and day after for all the games that are happening, so you can stay in the loop for that. And as I said, we want to get to 120 subscribers by the end of the week, so please help us reach that goal, and we'd really appreciate your support. But thank you for joining. Have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching this, and hope you enjoy all the games on the weekend. Hope your team wins the games that they are playing, unless of course it's West Brom. In that case, let's hope they don't win. But aside from that, whatever team you support, hopefully they win, and you can have a good weekend ahead. But thank you so much for joining. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.